We speak the data into existence, and now we're looking at top of the squeeze to you guys. What's going on? We're looking at AMC and GME double digits up as of yesterday when we said the climb is coming. However, you might have noticed that we have Peloton also up about 25% at the end of the day after what some analysts are saying, the beginning of a short squeeze. We're going to talk about the mechanics of what we have already observed on the far in the money calls that we have observed as early as February 2nd. We're going to talk about the short interest and a little bit of a reload from shorters to be able to afford to continue holding their short position. Still 20% short. Also going to talk about how we were able to see that buy signal on AMC. We were able to catch that right before the huge rip upward, and what you guys need to know by the end of this video. Watch until the end, slap that like until it hits 1200 to get more retail investors and apes watching this video, because it also makes you look pretty cool doing so. First things first, let's talk about what the levels of resistance we were expecting. We saw that AMC and GME had levels of resistance topped up right around that 2 o'clock Eastern time zone. We're looking at 1663 as a level of resistance here. AMC peaked above it 20 cents, around $16.82 as its high, and GME had just right there a previously predicted level of resistance at 118.24. That was where GameStop stopped after some bullish news from both fronts. Let's take a look at what AMC is doing. AMC looks like it has found a bottom. Adds 2 new multiplexes in San Diego and DC areas. They reaches new lease agreements with URW and announcing additional high-profile major market acquisitions of former ArcLight locations in the DC and the San Diego areas. So it looks like AMC is expanding, taking the money that it knows it needs to be able to put right back into the profits, right back into a little bit of an investment so that AMC can continue growing its partnerships. And speaking of partnerships, GameStop finding a NFT future. GameStop gets a new deal for NFT ventures in a move that gives more clarity in what it hopes to become. Ryan Cohen's vision is to create an ultimate destination with a brand new NFT goal. So that is what we are currently looking at. 2 unconnected but very bullish pieces of news on the fundamental side. AMC and GME putting its teeth into a brand new potential opportunity. So that's explaining what happened today, why AMC and GME are able to rise levels of resistances over an AMC all the way up to just this level of support, which GME has been tracking for the last 3 trading days, all the way up to its next level at 118. If you guys are looking for the next levels, 147 is GME's next level of resistance. Seriously, there are very little pieces of resistance or support that GME has tested in the past. Over on AMC side, a couple more levels of resistance, $18.32, and then 3 more all the way up to $20. That's going to be a pretty significant mental barrier for most people. Let's talk about what analysts are saying on the beginning of a short squeeze, the pressure of Peloton, and the role of retail investors.
I think if you look at today's announcement and kind of reading between the tea leaves as a recovering M&A reporter, this would be a way to say, here's what we're doing for now. We're going to focus on rearranging our capital allocation plan. We're going to let this new CEO, who's moving, by the way, all the way from California to New York City to take this job. We're going to let him get acclimated here. So I think this essentially says we are not for sale, at least in the short term, as we try and turn things around, which makes sense. The stock had been so depressed, no one wants to sell at the levels that it was currently trading. But I would argue that given today's trading action, I don't know how much of that is necessarily a short squeeze per se, but the stock is up 32%, 33% right now. It would indicate that the market doesn't necessarily need to see a sale. They like the changes that were announced this morning.
Yeah.
At least, again, in the short term.
Sure, no doubt. Les, thanks. That's Leslie Picker following the money. Josh, give me a quick comment on how you see this after this latest bout of news.
I think most of what we're seeing is a short squeeze. I think, according to Ortex, about 14% of the float was short. If you look at dark pool short activity, it's way higher. And going into, as of the close Friday, they say short sellers were already sitting on 250 million in losses from those levels. And then you get this big spike today. I think this is much more indicative of people just coming out of this thing at a small loss or maybe a big gain if they were long-term investment shorts. I don't feel like you have like hedge funds and mutual funds being like, I'm super bullish on this new CEO of one of the worst managed companies in the market. I just don't think that's the case. So the company's smart. They're saying we have a plan B. We don't have to sell by making these moves. I agree with that. And then the question is like, how gully is Amazon or Nike? I don't believe the rumors that Apple has any interest. They don't do deals. So that's basically what you have to bet on if you're staying long through the end of today and beyond.
Okay.
So this is the thing about Peloton, and maybe you guys have already heard of it from Billions or any other TV shows where there's shorting involved, or maybe you guys have just seen the playlist that I have provided about AMC and GME when there are hedge funds or other institutions that are, they call themselves the white blood cells, but really they're going and attacking existing companies with selling positions that aren't theirs. They can end up being very, very vulnerable to people holding long positions and squeezing them upward. Since they're so exposed, they end up having to hold significant bags. And like they said, a lot of the short information could be in dark pools that is not being collected by Ortex. Which is why I'm bringing you guys to Ortex right here. AMC, once again, small change in the short interest, down 2.3%, but still holding right at 21.28% of the free float. Seriously, there could be so much more that we don't see in the dark pools. And we're just waiting for those vulnerable hands that are holding short positions to be broken down by these diamond ones. If you guys liked the information that we had to be able to provide you guys, once again, those levels of resistances are here and here for you guys to pay attention to. GameStop and AMC facing pretty bullish moves once again. The SEC is close to announcing their remarks on the meme stock craze, which we talked about in the very last video. If you guys haven't yet seen a playlist, watch until the end because I'm going to have one right above here on either side, but I want to be able to thank the people that made this show possible. In particular, look at the fact that we have been able to get these buy and sell signals from Lux algorithm. If you guys haven't yet, 20% off down in the description down below with the links. And thank you guys for those of you who make this show possible by supporting it directly. The patrons on Patreon, as well as those of you who pressed that join button next to the subscribe button. You guys know who you are. That sleepy dog over there was Meatball, the professor, and my name has been Andrew, and I'm so excited to see you guys in the next video. Make sure if you guys are staying or you found this information very entertaining or very informational, hit that like button to prove that you guys are apes through and through, and hit that subscribe button if you're staying. Thank you guys, and we'll see all of you, every single one of you, Grillionaires, Space Legends, and all of the rest of the Moon Platoon in the money. Peace.